Hello and guten Tag from Darmstadt. So I've just finished the first week at the summer school here, and I have to say it's been amazing. Never actually expected it to be this good. I think one of the things that surprised me most has been how incredibly friendly and warm it is. I mean, not just warm, although it is very, very warm. The whole of this next week is going to be over 30 degrees. Be warned if you're going to come. It's hot. But just all the people are just so lovely. I've met so many people. I think I've met more people in the last week than I probably have in about the last 3 years. So that's amazing, and it's just so friendly. Everyone's just so great. So it's like you meet someone and then 3 hours later they plump themselves down next to you at a concert and introduce you to someone else and start talking as if you're old friends. It's fantastic. I've got quite a lot of sort of buddies now that I meet up with on a regular basis. I'm not quite sure how to go about this, but I just want to do a little check-in and sort of a quick report on it, because it really has been the most extraordinary experience so far. This week I've been doing Kathy Milliken's collective composing workshop. So that's been with a mix of composers and performers, and we had an intro session and then 3 workshops of 3 hours each over the course of 3 days. And at the end of it, we did a performance in the Grosse Saal in the Academy für Tonkunst. And that went really well, actually. I confess I had my doubts. We did that thing in rehearsal where it's like, oh my goodness, this is just a hideous mess, isn't it? And but of course, as often happens, it all just came together in the performance, and I was convinced by it. I thought it was pretty good. So I made some really good friends from that, and Edward Henderson from Bastard Assignments and I are going to be doing an open space improv gig on Saturday at, I think it's 11 to 12. So I'll put the details down below just in case you're in Darmstadt and watching this. So we're doing that with a couple of people from the collective composing group, and that's going to be good fun, I think. And I'm hoping to film some of that. I actually haven't documented very much at all. People have been taking photos and little snippets of video in concerts, but I kind of felt I didn't want to be sort of setting aside the experience in favour of having vlog fodder, really. So I don't have any of that for you, sorry. What I do have is a photograph of Edward wearing a costume that we are both going to be wearing for a performance on Thursday by a New Zealand composer called Nick Snowball, who's asked us to be in his piece for the Composing with the Archive workshop. And I have to say, this is looking like so much fun. He's done great work on the costumes. It's all quite dada and peculiar, and it's going to be great. So that's been good. The concerts have been incredibly varied. I think the thing I'm enjoying most, apart from the amazing people, is I normally actually don't get to very many concerts. It's quite difficult from where I live to get home again afterwards, and so I tend to not go to very much. And when I do go to things, I often just sort of love all of it, because I don't go to very many, so my critical faculties don't get much of a workout. And what I'm really enjoying is that in the last couple of days, I've now been to so many concerts, I can actually come out of a concert and say, oh my gosh, that was ghastly, which I've done. Several times in the last couple of days. There have been a few pieces that I felt that composers had made major errors, and it's really interesting. It's fantastic, and it's really nice to be able to articulate that and to talk to other people who feel the same way, and yes, we can all go and articulate over a drink. It's great. So I haven't been doing a whole lot of composing apart from the collective variety, mostly because I haven't been a whole lot of time. I've been to bits of the conferences. I went to a little bit of the curating conference, and I dropped in on the embodying music conference, which wasn't quite what I thought it might be, but I think there's stuff in there that'll just sort of bubble away and probably become useful later. So there've been talks and workshops and performances and all sorts of things going on. There's no point to me actually detailing all the concerts I've been to, because there've been far too many of them. I think a couple of highlights have been Jesse Marino's Nice Guys Win Twice, which was fantastic. I just loved that. Everything about it was great. Lisa Lim's Atlas of the Sky, I think it was called. Apologies if I get these titles wrong, I haven't actually got them written down here. There's just been so many pieces. That was really, I really loved that. It was very, very strong and some fantastic sounds and just amazing. There was a Phony Ho piece that Lucas Fells played last night that was also really stunningly beautiful, and I've never really been into Phony Ho, and now I'm thinking I should listen to more of him. Yeah, so there have been some really, really great moments and some exciting moments, and some that are just challenging in excellent ways. I went to the Giulio Mihaly concert, I think it was the night before last. It's hard to tell, their sort of days are kind of blurring together a bit. Yeah, so that was voice and electronics, and while I didn't particularly like really any of the pieces in there, I was very interested in what she was doing, and the whole thing felt like a bit of a challenge to me that, you know, maybe I could do better if I put my mind to it. Or maybe I can at least try to do better, or just do it differently. I just really wanted to get involved in all that and see what I can come up with. Anyway, today I've actually had a bit of a breakthrough, and I'm so excited. And I'm just shaking the camera everywhere. If you watch this vlog regularly, you may recall back in February when we were snowed in Snape Maltings, I was working on a piece that was quite physical to do with falling, and yeah, I was really unhappy with it. And I've continued to be unhappy with it ever since February, and it's really bugged me because the guys thought it was great, and I just hated it. I really hated it, and I couldn't work out why. And I've gradually come to a realization that I'm just not comfortable with how foregrounded the physicality is in that piece, at least in my brain. And I was talking to Nick Snowball and Tim this morning, and Tim said something about the sound in that piece, and I suddenly realized that I'd actually almost forgotten there was sound in it because I was so kind of obsessed by the movement. And so what I've done is I basically chucked out the movement, and I've just taken the sounds, and I did a quick run, which I put a little bit of in here. And I'm so much happier with it. It's great. So what I'm thinking of is to refine what I've got, and I might try tinkering with some Max MSP and sort of play with some thicker textures, and also with extending sounds, because it's very constrained by the breath, and so how long the breath can be. And I'd be interested to see if electronics can do anything to just extend that a bit and make it less constrained. And yeah, I think that could be really interesting. And then thinking that at the end of the process, I might revisit the sort of physical side of it and maybe reintroduce some of that movement into the piece, but from a context of having the sound really solid. And I think, I'm just so much happier with all of this. It's really good. So I want to do a bit more work on that tonight, possibly as something to take to my lesson with David Helbich tomorrow. I've got all my lessons tomorrow. So I was booked in with Simon Steen Andersen, but alas, for personal reasons, he's had to pull out of Darmstadt entirely. And they've got Rafael Chendo in, whose work I actually don't know at all, so I need to go and look him up. So I've got him in the afternoon for a group lesson and David in the morning for a group lesson, with 1 hour in between to regroup and try and work out who I am. So that's going to be huge. yeah, so loads of stuff coming up. It's going to be a great week. I'm really looking forward to getting cracking on it. So I'll stop talking now, and I'll see you next week. Have a marvellous week. Any comments or questions, please leave them below, and I will endeavour to answer them in between amazing concerts. See you then. Bye.